Welcome to another episode of the 62cc professional Timberpro cutting up some wood. So this was that massive 5-foot ash tree that had fallen down. There's like 4 big monster pieces of wood here. I think that tree was 2 trees that grew together on one stump. But as you can see, these logs are just massive. They come up to pretty much almost my hip. And they are probably every bit of 3 feet. And some of them are probably even 4 feet. That you'll see later in the video. But I'm just using the professional Timberpro here to buck them up. I have sold all of these logs to the neighbor. These logs are not any good for lumber. They are destined to be firewood, and that's exactly what he's going to use them for. So he is going to bring his he has a bobcat and a 10,000 pound, well, it's actually probably 9,999 pound trailer. And he's going to bring his dump truck and probably the bobcat on that to bring these logs over back to his place. And all he has to do is literally drive across the bridge and make a right-hand turn into our place. And he's here, so he lives literally across the creek from us. But I'm just using, I think this is is this a cant hook or a PV? I should probably know this. I think it's a cant hook to roll these logs, and you guys can tell a lot of this is hollow and some of it's rotten. These 2 logs are not the best out of all of them. The logs that are at the bottom, those ones are much better than these ones. But I'm just kind of cutting things up, and his bobcat, his is a wheeled machine, and he can pretty easily pick up big logs and stuff. Looking back on this, knowing that he was going to bring the bobcat and the trailer over, I probably should have just left these all in one piece, because his bobcat would have easily been able to pick up all of these without any problems whatsoever. Now, it has warmed up since me filming this video. We've had a couple days in the 30s and 40s, and I think today's even almost supposed to be 50. And with this year, we have had so much rain. I am not kidding. We are probably 2 feet, almost 2 feet above where we should be in rainfall for the year. So I would almost like to do this when the ground freezes again, because he could get stuck in the dump truck, he could get stuck in the skid steer, he could get stuck down in the hole with his skid steer, and we do have some equipment to pull him out, but that skid steer is pretty heavy. Yeah, that's a construction machine, not a farm tractor. So I don't know, hopefully he doesn't get stuck, but I'll try to get some video of it. Like I said, I'd rather do this when the ground is nice and hard and frozen, and there's no chance of him getting stuck at all. But it was funny, he said pretty much all of these logs will fit on his 10,000 pound trailer, and this whole tree, for what's left of it, is a single load. Just one load, that's all. But I'll tell you, someday I'd really love to get a skid steer, a dump truck, a dozer, as well as an equipment trailer to haul all sorts of stuff around and whatnot. They'd all come in real handy. But, you know, that stuff all costs money and whatnot, so I'm just kind of making cut after cut. This log here was pretty rotten. It was all hollow, and that's just kind of the way things are with old dead trees. And I've got to say, I'm pretty sure that this is an ash tree. After making some cuts in the good wood, this wood has that darkening section in the middle, and that is a characteristic of ash trees. So the bark kind of looks like ash tree bark, and the inside and stuff of the good wood looks like an ash tree. So I'm pretty sure this is an ash tree. Like I said, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's an ash tree. So I'm here using some felling wedges to pound into the log here to spread the log open so I can see where the cut is. And since these logs are so darn big, I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing exactly where I'm missing the cut, where I haven't cut the whole way through this thing. I had originally planned on getting the 8N or the Alice with the Jeep trailer and loading up probably one of these logs at a time. I'd probably have about 5 loads of wood to take over to him, just because we have the farm tractors and stuff with ag tires, and his dump truck just has regular road tires, and with it being wet, I'd like to think he wouldn't get stuck, but you never really know. This is pretty hilly to get down here. There is some decent sized hills he'd have to get up in order to get this wood out of here. But with a farm tractor and stuff, the mud and stuff really doesn't bother them. They'll just dig down till they find some good hard ground. And a dump truck and stuff with just regular road tires, it'll just kind of spin and whatnot. But his Bobcat should be fine. He has pretty good tires on it. So I don't know. We'll have to see how things go, but hope he doesn't get stuck. And I've got to say, pounding in these wedges, this is a great use of those wedges. Spreading out those logs so I can see where the cuts are. I use those also for felling, and this is kind of a different use for them, but they work great for this. Now on a smaller log, I would not probably use the felling wedges. I would probably just roll the whole log over. But since these logs are just massive, these things are huge. A lot of these I can't really roll, except for the 2 hollow ones, maybe the 2 hollow ones up top. So I'm just kind of working my way down the hill here, and these were some that we moved with the 8N, just kind of towing them out. But I've got to say, this Timberpro is working pretty good. It's kind of cutting through these logs really without a problem, and it's nice having some horsepower at my fingertips. I'm really seeing that in life and with equipment and stuff. It's nice having something with a lot of horsepower that you can really get some stuff done pretty quick. We're just making cut after cut, and I'm trying my hardest not to hit the dirt with this, because like I said, these logs are so big, and I can't really easily roll these things. Now I could hook this up to a tractor, but I don't have the tractor here right now. This is just kind of me with the chainsaw and just wedges and a cant hook. But I managed. I did hit some on this log here. I did hit some metal. This was actually in this tree is in probably about 5 feet out into the creek, maybe more. And what I had to do was try to make those cuts, because like I said, I was not able to roll these logs, so I have to pretty much cut the whole way through without hitting the ground, hitting the dirt. And whenever I put the boards over top of the dock and stuff, I hit some of the screws that were in it, so the chain cut pretty bad after that, so I had to go and sharpen it. But that's just the way things go, I guess. Actually, having a skid steer with me whenever I was cutting these, it would have made things a lot easier. I could have just probably picked up the whole log and rolled it and did what I needed to do to it. So I was kind of happy to sell these logs. They are not the greatest. They are, like I said, they're pretty much firewood. You could probably squeeze some lumber and stuff out of them, but yeah, this tree is it's so rotten in some spots, and it's not the straightest, and this wood is just better for firewood. I know a lot of people are thinking, boy, it's such a giant tree, you know, why don't you turn it into lumber? But it's beyond its peak by a long shot, so that's just the way things go, I guess. But I've known for years that this tree was bad, and thankfully whenever this thing let go, there wasn't anyone underneath it or around it, so we kind of lucked out there. But this is probably the biggest log here. The base of this thing was approaching 4 feet wide, and it was about maybe, I don't know, maybe a foot or two thick, if that makes any sense. You know, this tree is pretty flat. This part here is quite flat, and you know it's bad when you're cutting through a big tree that you have to stand on it to reach to the other side. But I'm kind of just working my way out onto that dock. It's not a floating dock. I call it like a boat launch, sort of. But all it really is just a bunch of logs stacked on top of the ground with some boards screwed to the top, and also I used some rocks and stuff on the edges to hold things down. It actually worked quite well for launching a boat. It gets you further out in the water, and the water beyond this boat dock or launch is, it probably gets 2 and 3 feet deep, and then about another 3 feet beyond it, the bank here drops off significantly, and the water out there is probably 10 and 12 feet deep, so definitely don't want to get too close to that. And as you can see, it is pretty cold. I was doing this I think it was in the 20s. So all the ground was really hard, which was really nice. There was no mud anywhere. So we kind of lucked out there, but we're just making some more cuts in this big tree, and just using them with some more wedges and stuff to spread the logs apart so I can see exactly where I haven't cut. And those wedges, they worked really good. I don't know what else I'd use, but if the neighbor can't get down here with his dump truck, trailer, and the Bobcat, what I can do is, like I said, I'll use the 8N or the Alice, use those tractors with the Jeep trailer and the crane, and I can even pull from the top here. You know, that's what's nice with having a winch on something, because you can winch stuff out, where with a piece of equipment you'd have to drive with it. And with a winch and stuff, it's a lot more controllable. You know, if something were to go wrong or whatever. But you can see I'm literally right on the edge of the creek here, and we're getting towards the top of the tree. We had pulled some logs out before. Actually, it was, whenever this tree fell, it was still warm out. Everything was still green, and I'm finally getting around to just cutting this now. But the water, it's funny, the water in the creek here was super clear. I don't know what it is. This time of the year, in the fall and the winter and stuff, the water gets super clear, and you can literally see about 4 feet down in some spots in the creek, and you can see everything that's down there, from sticks to leaves to branches to trees to there's some sunken boats in here, you name it. And you can see to the bottom. Now after about 5 feet it gets to be, you can't really see anymore, so from about 4 and 3 feet up you can see very easily. It's actually, I think it's pretty neat to be able to see through the water that far. I think in the summer and stuff there's like algae and stuff in the creek that clouds the water and makes it green. And when the temperatures get cooler, you can see a lot easier and further down in the creek. But I think it was on this cut that I hit the dock and screws and stuff. And these logs, man, these logs are so heavy. It was pretty much everything I could do to just roll this log here, this section that I'm cutting through now, with the cant hook, but I was able to roll it, and you guys will see this is actually like half of the tree, maybe 2/3 of the tree. So I'm thinking maybe like this tree was struck by lightning many years ago, or it was possibly split in half. Well, actually, if it was struck by lightning, the lightning could have split this tree in half, and you know, I wouldn't really know about it because all of the burnt wood. This tree was burned in a couple sections, so maybe it was struck by lightning and then split in half. But if I had to guess, this tree, oh my gosh, this tree is super old. It might even be 150 years old. And probably without a doubt, somewhere in there. You know, for an ash tree to grow to be about 5 feet on the stump. But like I said, I'm not entirely sure if it was two trees that grew beside each other, or it was one tree with two stems, which it could have been also. But for it to be about 5 feet across, I wouldn't say that's unheard of, but it's pretty unlikely that an ash tree would grow to be that big, around here at least. I have never seen another tree this big. I've seen 3-foot thick ash trees, but nothing 5 feet. And I've got to say, this was probably the second biggest standing tree on the property. We have a sycamore tree that is about 6 feet in diameter, and I actually want to make a video about that. I'll try to maybe do that here within the next couple of days. I'll give you guys a little hint on that tree. That tree we think is a Native American trail marker tree. So it's got some interesting features and stuff on it, and I'd like to do a video about it, and maybe someone else could know some more about it than I would. But be sure to look out for that video in the next, I don't know, coming couple of weeks. It definitely takes me some time to produce these videos and make them and film them and whatnot, but I definitely enjoy making videos on YouTube, and I've really got some great people that watch my stuff, and some new subscribers and stuff here and there. And actually, if you're new to the channel, if you would hit that subscribe button if you enjoy my content, and if you like what you see, hit that like button. And if you want to be notified whenever I produce a new video, press the little bell icon. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and hopefully we will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.